Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be going over the topic of resin. I'm going to go over what type of resin brand I use and why I use it. In particular, I am talking about Envirotex Lite resin. I purchased mine at Michael's a while back. I do not have any to show you today because I've already used it, but I'm going to go over how much I've used and how I used it. The size I usually buy is about a 32 ounce size, which runs about $35, so it is expensive. But I only use it on my smaller items like my coasters or little ornaments. Like here I have a snowman, really shiny. And I have a star. I love the shine that this resin produces. Anywho, materials you will need are cups or flat surfaced bowls or little mixing cups that you can get at Michael's just for resin. Also, make sure you have stirring sticks. And make sure they are flat-sided. I know this side isn't flat, but mainly flat-sided to scrape the sides of your cup or bowl that you use. Also, I have used a measuring cup to pre-measure how much epoxy and how much hardener I will use, and that has really worked for me. I have pre-marked a cup. I don't know if you can really see it, but at the bottom I measured out 2 ounces of epoxy and 2 ounces of hardener. And you have to have exact, precise measurements with resin. I don't care what type of resin it is, they have to be exact. Because if you don't have enough hardener, your epoxy or resin may never harden and it'll always stay tacky. Or if you have too much hardener, well, I'm guessing it won't flow good. So they have to be exact measurements, and you will need more than one container to mix your resin in because you're going to have 2 rounds. Your first round is kind of like your trial round where you mix it, and the second cup will be for your final, and you'll want to make sure it's completely mixed good in this final piece, because after that they don't suggest mixing anymore and you'll be ready to pour. And some facts I've learned about this particular resin is it loves warm environments. So if you're up north in the colder areas or anywhere where it's cold, please warm it up before. A good practice I have found that works is to go ahead and warm it up in a bowl with warmed or lukewarm to warm water for at least 5 to 10 minutes. And if you purchase this particular kind of resin, it'll tell you in the instructions to do that. And it really has worked for me. The warm environment and the heat will help it flow better, and it'll also help you get rid of air bubbles. And anyways, so let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes to warm up, and during that time you can prep your item. A good thing to do is to tape the sides of your item first. Like on coasters, I will tape above the side, or tape a little bit above the side of the coaster. That way if I pour and I notice that I didn't pour enough, I have that barrier to keep it from running off the side too much. Or I can tell when I have enough on the top, so that way it's not left hidden or blank edges or whatnot. And also tape your bottoms. Make sure you tape the back side, or if you don't, you can get runoff. And most of the time, if you let it sit long enough, the only way you're going to get rid of that runoff is by having a rotary drill or sandpaper, something. So a rotary drill or sandpaper is also a good item to have on hand when you're dealing with resin. So, first things first, make sure you got your measurements right. You'll pour in the epoxy first, and then you'll pour in the hardener. Okay. And your first go around with your stirring stick, you will stir for a steady 2 minutes. Do not stop stirring, because that chemical reaction is what has to happen. They have to get mixed very well. And you'll notice that during this chemical reaction, it'll start to heat up. Resin does create a thermal chemical reaction. So please have gloves on hand, and if you feel unsafe using it right away, stop. There are other items you can use to coat your coasters, such as engine enamel, high heat engine enamel, and other like spray varnishes and stuff. But I prefer Envirotex Lite because it gives that awesome shine. Also, it is UV resistant, water resistant, and heat resistant. And you'll notice on the cover of the box that you get if you purchase Envirotex Lite, it has a table. I'm guessing mostly this is being used for tabletop resin to give that awesome shine and clear coat. But anyways, you want to mix that 2 minutes, and then you'll use your second cup. You'll pour it into the second cup and mix it, grab another separate stirring stick and mix it for another 2 minutes. And don't stop stirring. And make sure you scrape your sides so that way you get everything mixed. You don't want any measurements off. Okay, so 2 minutes is up. Pour onto your item, and it doesn't take long to actually dry. I usually wait about 45 minutes to an hour on my coasters to remove the tape on the sides, so that way it's still pliable, it's still kind of sticky, it hasn't hardened completely yet, and it gives it that chance to really go over the edges and make sure it's covering them. And all it takes is about 24 hours to completely harden, and the shine is amazing. So please do not be afraid to use resin, but if you are unsure or feel unsafe, just don't worry about it. I have had good luck with this particular brand of resin, and the smell is minimal to none. I have not had any issues with the smell. There are some brands out there that smell stronger than others, but Envirotex Lite has been awesome as far as that goes. That could be the reason why it has light at the end of it. Like, it's not, it doesn't carry a strong odor, and is still able to be used and serve its purpose. But anyways, I hope you find this video useful. And the instructions that I pretty much shown you are basically instructions to use any kind of resin, because you will have to mix, you will have to measure it exactly and precisely. You don't want unuse of it, because it is expensive, and once you use it and you pour it on something and let it sit, it's gonna harden, so you can't use it anymore. Anyways, I hope you find this useful, and please feel free to share this video with other people that are unsure or are beginning to use resin. It's really not that hard, and the shine it gives is amazing. It's like looking at glass. You see that light? I love it. and it's smooth. So have a good day, guys, and happy painting and pouring.